All because August 2020 is a bit sparse for new Nintendo Switch games doesn't mean that there's not great games to play already available on the system via the eShop. Right now there's a pretty good eShop sale going on, so I want to highlight some of the titles that are on sale that you might enjoy playing. Plus saving money is always a good thing, right? What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about what games are on sale on the Nintendo Switch eShop right now that you'll want to check out. Now, to preface things off, all of these games are on sale as of August 8th, 2020, so if you missed out on any of these sales and you're a bit upset by that, well, you should have been subscribed to the channel and you should have had notifications turned on, so that way you'll always know when the newest videos are up so you can catch these deals. The first game we're going to talk about is a game that sort of flew under the radar when it came out. I actually played it and enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I ever talked about it in a video though, and that is a game called American Fugitive. Now, American Fugitive is available for just $7.99. You're basically playing as a character who is pinned for the murder of his father, but he didn't do it. So you break out of jail and you are trying to figure out what happened to your father and who killed them. Now, the gameplay style is a bit more like Grand Theft Auto, but the original Grand Theft Auto games, where it's sort of a top-down open world style, but you could go anywhere you want to go, you could do anything you want to do, you can of course hijack cars, and of course you have to avoid the cops that are actually looking for you since, well, you broke out of jail. I mean, you can't do things like that, buddy. But it's a really interesting story. I think the gameplay is pretty solid. There's good mission variety as well, and at just $7.99, I think it tells a good tale, and the gameplay is fun enough to where you keep wanting to play the game and see what the game is coming up with next. Panzer Dragoon was one of my favorite Sega Saturn games, and the Panzer Dragoon remake came out earlier on the Nintendo Switch this year, and it is currently on sale for just $16.74. Do you like Star Fox? I think a lot of Nintendo fans like Star Fox, and if you like Star Fox, you will like Panzer Dragoon remake on the Nintendo Switch. The main difference between this game and a game like Star Fox, beyond, having characters like Fox McCloud, is of course the gameplay of the game. Whereas a Star Fox, you're just moving and shooting straight ahead. In this game, you could actually shoot in 4 different directions. You could shoot in front of you, behind you, to the left, and to the right. So enemies are constantly coming at you, and you're constantly having to adjust the camera to take down these enemies. The game, I think, looks great running on the Nintendo Switch. They have done some additional patches to the game as well that did things like add a 60 frames per second mode to the game, and even added in the original bonus content that was available in the Sega Saturn version of the game. Like I pretty much said, if you like Star Fox, you like on-rail shooters, Panzer Dragoon is a must-own in my opinion, and Panzer Dragoon Remake is available on sale on the Nintendo Switch for just $16.74, which is actually the cheapest it's ever been on the platform. One of the most controversial games of the 90s was, of course, Night Trap, and Night Trap is available on sale on the Nintendo Switch for just $2.99. Now, honestly, I don't think Night Trap is like a great game or anything like that, but it's an important piece of video game history, and I think you could sort of see why this game was so controversial back in the day, and it was a groundbreaking game because it, of course, introduced the ESRB rating system. Night Trap basically has you playing as a character who's watching different cameras in this house where a teenager is throwing a party. Now, there's all which are basically like vampires that are breaking into the house and trying to take out these teenagers. There's various traps set up in the house, so you have to go to the right camera at the right time and activate the right trap in order to trap the augurs. Like I said, the gameplay definitely hasn't held up, but this was one of the most interesting FMV games of the time because of the more dark and gritty overtones that were used in the game. It's definitely dated by today's standards, and the stuff won't really shock you or anything like that, but like I said, it's an interesting piece of video game history, and Night Trap is available for just $2.99. So if you've never played it, it is worth checking out just for the historical aspect of it. Metroid Prime 4 may be a ways away, but if you're looking for a Metroid-like experience on a budget, I will always recommend this game, and that is a game called Morphite on the Nintendo Switch, which is available for $2.49. Now, it's definitely not as in-depth as a game like Metroid Prime, but it has a lot of similarities to the series. You're basically going to different ecosystems and scanning different things in the environment, solving puzzles, and of course engaging in a first-person combat perspective. I really liked this game when it came out. I did a full review of it. I think it's an absolute hidden gem on the Nintendo Switch. It's a game that doesn't get a lot of love, I feel, on the system, and it really should, because it is a good game, it is a fun game, and at just $2.49, if you are a fan of Metroid Prime style games, it is definitely worth checking out Morphite. Bethesda is holding a QuakeCon sale, and there's no Quake games on the Nintendo Switch, but that doesn't mean that there's not Bethesda games on sale on the Nintendo Switch right now for QuakeCon, and there are quite a few that I want to cover. Doom 1, Doom 2, and Doom 64 are all available for just $2.49 a piece, and of course, these are timeless first-person shooters, really laid the groundwork down, especially Doom 1, for the first-person shooter games, and it's just a fun game to still play. They've actually been adding in a lot of content to Doom 1 and Doom 2, such as new WOD packs, which give you more levels to play, and Doom 64 on the Nintendo Switch is the definitive version of the game. Doom 64 originally was very dark on the Nintendo 64 and very hard to see, but I think Doom 64 definitely improves upon all of those aspects from the original game, but still makes it feel exactly like the original game. You can just, well, you can see things now, and it makes for a much better experience. Another game that's on sale is Doom 3 for just $4.99, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and give you guys a hot take. I think Doom 3 is one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Switch when you take everything into account. When you take into account the resolution and the frame rate, Doom 3 is an absolute banger on the Switch, and it's crazy just how good this version of the game looks. Now, Doom 3, of course, was a bit of a controversial game because when it originally came out, it really wasn't like Doom. It was more of like a survival horror style game, but that's why I love Doom 3. I think it's sort of the misunderstood child in the Doom franchise, and it definitely has a place in the Doom franchise because they try to do something a little bit different, a little bit slower paced and a bit more methodical. But I think the end result is a great game that it still holds up today, and it's definitely a game you should check out on the Nintendo Switch at just $4.99. Now, if you're looking for something a bit more modern for your first-person shooters, the original Doom 2016 edition, which is technically 2017 edition because that's when it came out on the Nintendo Switch, is available for just $29.99. It is a great-looking game, it is a great playing game, and most importantly, it has a lot of fun online multiplayer with a still pretty active community. A lot of online games tend to die out pretty quickly on the Nintendo Switch, but since Doom is sort of an anomaly as far as first-person shooters are concerned, and there's not a lot of online multiplayer first-person shooters, the online multiplayer component of Doom still has a very active community, and I absolutely love playing this game online. I think it's so much fun. There's so many different game modes, and of course you can have the demon runes where you take over as a demon. It really leads to a lot of fun situations. If you haven't checked out Doom on the Nintendo Switch, it is on sale for $29.99, and I highly recommend this game because I feel it's one of the best Nintendo Switch games that's released. And the final game in the Bethesda sale is Elder Scrolls Skyrim, available on the Nintendo Switch for just $29.99. If you like games like Legend of Zelda, big open world games, and you haven't played Skyrim, I mean, what are you doing? Like, Skyrim has released on everything by now. I feel like people have definitely played Skyrim, but if for some reason you haven't, Skyrim is on sale for just $29.99 on the Switch. You're going to get hundreds of hours of gameplay in this game. Of course, it does have the Legend of Zelda stuff in the game as well. There's a Master Sword, there's a Breath of the Wild tunic of the game, some very cool stuff, and I just love Skyrim. It's always fun to play Skyrim and just sort of walk around and almost create your own sort of situations in these towns. Just a great game. The Nintendo Switch version of the game runs great as well, so definitely a worthwhile pickup at $29.99. And there's even a pseudo first-party game that's on sale on the Nintendo Switch right now with Pokken Tournament on sale for just $41.99. Now, of course, you can get a free trial of Pokken Tournament on the Nintendo Switch right now as a sale going on where you can download a free demo of the entire game. Check it out, and if you like it, you can pick it up at the discounted price of $41.99. And I think Pokken Tournament is actually a very fun game. It definitely plays a lot like a Tekken-style game. You don't have to be a Pokemon fan to enjoy this game, but I do feel like if you are a Pokemon fan, you will get more enjoyment out of it. Definitely a very solid game. I enjoy fighting games, and Pokken Tournament is available on sale for just $41.99. Going back to the smaller indie titles, the Long Reach is available for just $2.99, and a bit like American Fugitive, I think this is an underrated game if you're a fan of old school style adventure games that were available on the PC. You're basically in a modern setting, there's some weird sci-fi stuff happening in your town, and you are tasked with trying to figure it out. I think the art style of the game is really nice. It's sort of a sci-fi horror style thing, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily scary or anything like that, but it definitely has a very interesting story, very interesting locations. There's tons of different puzzles to solve in the game as well. It's just a very well done game. If you're a fan of games like Maniac Mansion or Escape from Monkey Island, you know, those old school style adventure games that were available on the PC, I think you're really going to enjoy the Long Reach, and at just $2.99, it is an absolute bargain. Two Tribes is a company that I really enjoyed, and they went out with a bang with their final game, RIVE Ultimate Edition, which is available on sale on the Nintendo Switch eShop for just $1.49. The RIVE is basically sort of a 2D action platformer with a twin stick shooter element into the game as far as how you control the game, and I think it's a really well done game. The game itself looks absolutely beautiful, the combat is very over the top, and it's a very fast paced and frantic game. RIVE, like I said, was unfortunately Two Tribes' last game, but I think they went out on a bang with this game, and at just $1.49, it's definitely worth adding to your Nintendo Switch library because, I mean, it's cheap. Like, that's cheap. And the final game we have to talk about is a game that is on sale right now for just 29 cents, and I think you should pick this up to be prepared for the upcoming months, and that is Santa Tracker. Yes, Santa Tracker is available for 29 cents. Why is this a video game? And why is it on sale in August? Like, I guess you'll want to get this game to see where Santa is going, like, before Christmas time, but I don't understand, like, why games like this come out. Like, this is like a free mobile app, in my opinion, so your kids can be like, oh, here comes Santa, he's, you know, in Alaska now he's coming to our house. But yeah, for some reason Santa Tracker is available on the Nintendo Switch. Don't buy it at 29 cents unless you really want to. I just kind of wanted to throw a joke game in here. Alright, so those are some Nintendo Switch eShop games that are currently on sale right now that definitely have my stamp of approval and are games that you should check out. Minus Santa Tracker. Don't check out Santa Tracker unless you just really want to and you're excited about Santa coming in a few months. But let me know in the comment section down below if you have played any of these games, if you plan on picking up any of these games, or if there's some games on my list that I missed that are currently on sale. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss videos like this. You can get the sales when they are actually on sale. I have people hit me up all the time. They're like, this game isn't on sale anymore. And I'm like, you watched it a week after it came out. You gotta be quick, people. You gotta be quick. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.